How is it when I have the highest of expectation possible, I'm still left shocked and surprised? How is it that these movies about a little blue hedgehog continue to be one of the best franchises in film history? What a time we live in, right? A time where DC is currently taking a break to work on their own new universe, and Marvel is being, let's just say, inconsistent. It's Sonic, of all things, that remains consistent. It blows my mind, because we are now on our 4th year of this franchise, and not a single one of these has been bad. Not a single one. None of them has even been average. They've all been great to amazing to just mind-blowing. Like, Sonic 1, it has its problems, and yes, it has aged a little poorly from the pop culture references and the product placement, but that's still a great movie. I still love that movie with all my heart, and it's the thing that started this channel all those years ago. So, it's always going to have a special place for me. Sonic 2, indescribable. Like, that movie, watching that movie was a whole other experience, dude. In a packed theater, with fans, with excitement. It was just a whole other thing. And then this year, we got not one, but 2 projects in this franchise. We got the Knuckles TV series, which I thought was a great time, even if most people don't. And then we had this at the very end of the year. Now, for those of you that haven't been keeping track up to this point, my favorite movie of the year up to that point was Deadpool and Wolverine. Or Deadpool 3, whatever you want to call it. But it might have gotten surpassed. I don't know. I have to watch Deadpool and Wolverine again before I make a full decision, because both of these movies are like on the same god tier of each other. And it's going to be very, very hard for me to pick one for the best of the year. But I can tell you that this is the best of the Sonic franchise, without a doubt. And watching this in a theater, my mind was freaking blown. Even if my theater wasn't the most hype or excited, reactive theater ever, I still think it was my favorite experience ever, because seeing this movie unfold on the big screen during Christmas time, especially after sitting through so many terrible, underwhelming, garbage sequels this year, I really needed this one. And we are definitely ending the year on a very high note for movies. Now, I am going to see Nosferatu. I'm still watching that remake when it comes out, but I'm not going to review that movie. At least not this year. I might review it in early January, we'll see, but I will definitely make some note about it. Like, if it makes my best list, for example, I'll talk about it there. But this is my final new movie review for 2024, and it is a hell of a one to go out on. So I hope that no matter what words come out of my mouth, you see this movie, because I don't think anything that I can say, anything that anyone else can say, anything that can come out of our speaking holes can prepare any of you for the masterpiece that this movie is. It's one of those special films that comes around once in a great while, or in this case, 2 in the same year, where it gives you everything you want. If you're a diehard Sonic fan, you're gonna love this movie. If you are a massive Shadow the Hedgehog fan like me, you're gonna adore it, because they do him justice. If you're a fan of Jim Carrey, delivers 100% in both performances. If you are a kid, your mind's gonna be blown by what you see on screen. If you're an adult, even if you're not a big fan of Sonic, it's still a very fun movie to take the kids out to see this holiday season. Okay, that was the longest preamble I think I've done all year, but it's because I'm trying to set you up for how this movie is. Now, obviously, I can't go fully into it because I do keep spoilers out of these reviews, but I know I can't do it justice no matter what word comes out of my mouth hole, but I'm sure as damn hell gonna try. So, with my shadow shirt in hand, let's begin. What's up, what's happening, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Anime Station, noise and animation, including TV and movies, and a Hedgehog that runs faster than the speed of sound. I'm Jackson Small. Welcome back to SoniCemberX. Welcome to my final movie review of 2024 for new releases this year. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. A movie where hype was in the stratosphere, and it somehow found a way to surpass even that. And before you ask, well, why aren't you wearing the fedora like you just were in your out-of-theater reaction? Two things. One, that was literally a day ago, so it needs washed. And two, last time I did a review with the fedora, you guys gave me crap for it, so I'm not wearing the fedora. We're going with the good old classic Sonic baseball cap. I know it doesn't match everything else I'm wearing, but I don't care. It'll work good enough. So, with all that out of the way, I think I've preambled long enough. Here is my lengthy, super positive, pretty much zero negative, written review for Sonic Movie 3. I know I'm probably not going to do it even a lick of justice, but I hope you enjoy anyway. Here we go. Let's begin. Where do I even remotely begin with this one? Not only is it the best film of the franchise yet, like all the reviews were saying beforehand, but it's probably my new favorite movie, period. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was a spectacular masterpiece of a movie by every single definition possible, not only living up to its insane hype, but ultimately even surpassing it. And considering the marketing campaign this movie had, that's saying something. The voice acting, outstanding. Everyone, Ben Schwartz, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, and Idris Elba, they all deliver 100%. And especially our new arrival, Keanu Reeves, as my favorite character in the entire franchise, Shadow the Hedgehog. He was perfect as Shadow. Like, some people are saying his performance was a little wooden in spots, but I don't think so. I think he completely and perfectly encapsulated Shadow's personality, Shadow's tone, and Shadow's pain because of everything that he's been through. Like, he doesn't get many quips or jokes in this movie. He is taken seriously. Like, this movie has jokes, it is still PG, but Shadow is dead serious most of the time. And he's, probably the best villain this franchise has had yet. Just saying. At least in my personal opinion. Then again, I'm a Shadow fanboy, so what do I know? The action's by far the best yet, with a final battle so incredible that it even rivals Gogeta versus Broly. Yes, I kid you not, it does, without any single doubt in my mind. The final battle rivals this. The final battle from this movie rivals Gogeta versus Broly. Just in live action rather than animation. But it is still out freaking standing. Like, the final battle in this movie, it goes beyond words. It is everything you could want out of a final battle in a Sonic movie with these two characters going at it. And also, after this battle, I'm convinced that a good live-action DBZ movie can be done. Like, after seeing that battle, there's no doubt in my mind that a good Dragon Ball Z movie can still be made in live action. Just give it to the right people who are familiar with the property, who are fans of the property, and have Toyotaro or someone with overseeing it. Like, it could be something incredible whenever they actually decide to try and not give us another Dragon Ball Evolution. Sorry. Moving on. The rest of the acting was also fantastic, especially Jim Carrey as both Robotniks. He's still great as Ivo. It's awesome to see Ivo Robotnik in his full game outfit. Like, the red suit with the white stripes. It is 100% game accurate. Yes, there is a lot of digital MCU circuitry thing going on with the suit, but honestly, I didn't mind it, and I honestly think it made the suit look even cooler. Then again, I'm one of those rare people that apparently thinks that the Superman suit in the new Superman movie looks good, so hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet, right? But he's still great as Ivo, and Ivo gets an amazing arc in this movie, too. Like, I can't go into it, because obviously spoilers, but he's great here. But Gerald, oh man, he might be even better than Ivo in this movie. And the little scenes you get of him in the trailers, it doesn't do justice to who Ivo really is. Not Ivo, sorry, Gerald. It does not do justice to how Gerald really is. Yes, it is a little weird that they did change the Adventure 2 storyline a bit by having him be alive rather than dead by firing squad, but then we had to make it PG-13, and apparently Paramount just does not have the balls to do that. So, let's keep moving, shall we? Phenomenal storytelling that pays homage to the legendary Sonic Adventure 2 in the best of ways. I literally cannot do it justice to you guys. This movie does full justice to the SA2 storyline, while also altering it just a little bit so it works a little better in this live-action cinematic universe. Please excuse the background noise, I don't know what those goofs are doing. The emotional moments were powerful, especially all the scenes with Shadow and Maria. I'm not gonna mince words, I cried multiple times during this movie. And especially a lot on the Maria and Shadow scenes together. Like, yes, it is obviously changed from SA2, but it is in a way where it still feels resonant, it still feels powerful, and without spoiling anything, I'll just say, you won't hear Live and Learn the same way you do ever again after you watch this movie. And all the scenes and interactions with Maria and Shadow all throughout the movie are so heartfelt that when that tragic moment that you know is coming, if you know the source material, happens, it hits you like a ton of bricks. Like I said, they took Shadow very seriously, his backstory included, and that is an amazing thing to see as a lifelong fan of this character and the Adventure 2 storyline. I know I'm bringing up SA2 a lot, but that's because it's this movie's main inspiration. Let's move on. The writing is excellent and far more clever than it has any right to be. This movie's writing is just on a whole other level. Especially this one absolutely incredible line that I have to talk about whenever I can do a full spoiler review. Sometime in probably late January. I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to see it before I even dare talk about anything spoiler related. But all I can tell you right now is that it is spectacular. Like, it is absolutely spectacular how the writing is in this movie and how it all comes together. I mean, it may start out a little shaky at first with the first act or so, but one moment in the second half of the movie, everything flips, and it suddenly becomes a movie aimed more at young adults than it is for kids. Like, I kid you not. The reviews online that are telling you that this is very much geared towards young adults, they are not lying. This movie is definitely made with adults and fans in mind. And you can see that in every single frame. And this is undoubtedly some of Pat Casey and Josh Miller's best writing ever. I can't do it justice. You just have to see it for yourself. But the writing, it's excellent, dude. It's so good. The humor is just as hilarious as ever. I know some people think Sonic is a little too quippy, but honestly, he's always been quippy. That's never really bothered me. That's always just been a part of his character. But he's definitely more mature here, and even though he is still making pop culture references and he's still being snappy with his dialogue, he's still very humorous. And all the humor in this movie is hilarious. And what's also impressive is that it doesn't intrude on the serious dark moments. Like, that's the problem that sometimes these kind of movies can run into, where they try to have something darker, something much more sinister, or like a much more serious tone, but then they end up flipping it around by having way too much humor in way too many bad spots, and it just ruins the experience. This doesn't do that. The humor in this movie is still as hilarious as it's ever been in these movies, which in my opinion is pretty freaking funny. And it still has all those moments that hit like a ton of bricks when they happen. Like, it is so, so good. The tone's a perfect blend of the goofiness from the first two movies and something much darker, especially the second half of the movie, which completely shifts by one very shocking moment. I won't say what the shocking moment is, but once it happens, the entire movie's tone perfectly flips the other direction. The character development is superb, whether we're talking about Sonic maturing even more than he was in 2, or Shadow's whole development arc that, I mean, if you've seen SA2, you already know what it is, but if you don't, it's a great surprise for newcomers. Or even characters like Knuckles. Like, he does get a little bit of an arc here. Like, obviously it's in the background more so, but it works and it's still super effective. And without spoiling anything, I'll just say that this is the first moment that we see Sonic legitimately angry. And it's scary to see this character make this kind of turn. All caused by that one shocking moment. It's so hard to talk about this movie because almost every single thing I want to talk about is tied into some kind of spoiler. But I am doing my best to tiptoe around it as much as I can. With the exception of stuff in the marketing. Marketing stuff is fair game. Character. Yeah. Pacing is lightning fast, but doesn't rush the important moments. Like, this movie does have a very fast, snappy pace, and it is shorter than 2 was, but it doesn't feel rushed. Like, yeah, they do move at breakneck speed, but it feels like the story is able to keep up with that speed and with that momentum. And it doesn't feel rushed, it doesn't feel half-efforted, poor Fossa. And it still really, really works. Like, great job handling the fast pacing. The final 30 minutes are absolutely mind-blowing. I literally cannot say why, but I'll just say the one thing that I can say, and that is, when you hear Live and Learn in this movie, and yes, that is not a spoiler, Johnny Giulia said it himself, so I'm allowed to say it, you will cry. If you are a lifelong Sonic fan who adores that song like I do, you're gonna cry when you hear it. The music is really good, especially Live and Learn, which was used beautifully. Like, they utilize Live and Learn so well in this movie, and it's used to perfect effect. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'll save the rest for a spoiler review sometime down the road. The post-credit scenes are very exciting. The post-credit scenes in this movie are absolutely game-changing by every single sense of the definition. Everything about the mid-credit scenes in this movie completely flip everything upside down. Especially with what happens in that third act of the movie and you see who gets introduced next. Oh boy, I'm just gonna say that Sonic 4 needs to hurry up and get here. Spring 2027, please speed over here, if you would. The Easter eggs are plentiful but not intrusive. This movie's still full of Easter eggs. Like, the ones from the trailer, like Shadow holding a gun just like in Shadow 05, or him with his Dark Rider motorcycle, or the Akira slide up a building. Like, there's still plenty of Easter eggs and references to pop culture and the Sonic franchise as a whole, but it doesn't feel intrusive on the overall story. They're just cute little member berries, as some people like to call them nowadays, for the longtime fans to attach themselves to. And rewatchability is up in the freaking stratosphere. You bet the second that this movie is available on a 4K Steelbook, I'm buying it, I'm adding it to the collection, and I'm going to be rewatching the ever-living crud out of it. Because I love this movie that much. You can call it bias, because I am a huge Sonic fan, but I don't care. I freaking love this movie so much. I seriously cannot do this outstanding movie justice, regardless of what words come out of my mouth. You just have to see it for yourself. It's not just another Sonic movie. It's the perfect Sonic movie. It's the greatest video game movie ever made, and in a very, very tight race with Deadpool and Wolverine for both my favorite sequel of the year and my best movie of the year. Which one's gonna win? Well, you might have to wait until January to find that out. Because, like I said, I still need to rewatch Deadpool and Wolverine again, and with the holiday season and all that, I'm just not sure if I'll have time to do year-end lists before the end of the year. So, yeah. Sometime in January, you'll get my best list, and you will see if Sonic 3 or Deadpool 3 tops the list. Either way, they're both the top 2 movies of the year by a mile. Watch this movie now. By any means necessary, watch it now. Don't watch Borfasa. Don't waste your time with freaking garbage, freaking War of the Rohirrim rushed out poo-poo garbage. Watch this movie. It is everything you want as a Sonic fan, and I wouldn't be surprised if it converts people into Sonic fans. Like, even a few reviews I read online from people who weren't too hot on the first 2 movies, they loved this one, and they now consider themselves a fan of the series because of it. That's the power of this movie, man, from everyone involved. Just before I give my final verdict, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who made this movie. Because without all of you guys and your amazing work, we wouldn't have what we have now. So, this is a thank you to Jeff Fowler, Josh Miller, Pat Casey, Neil Moritz, Ben Schwartz, Idris Elba, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, Keanu Reeves, Jim Carrey, Lee Majou, and Agent Stone gets a great arc in this movie too, I almost forgot. And just everyone that was in this movie gave it 110%. James Marsden, Tika Sumpter, Natasha Rothwell, Shamar Moore. Thank all of you so much for giving us this incredible movie that us fans have dreamed of since we were kids. And now watching it on the big screen with some of us who have our own kids now, it's truly a special moment. And there's really no better time to be a Sonic fan. And this is the greatest ending that the Year of Shadow could have absolutely hoped for. I adore this movie. I love this movie. I need you all to see it as fast as possible. Even if you have to wait till after the holidays, it will be in theaters in January, don't worry. But you just need to see this movie now. Now, yes, it's going to have some tough competition coming up with Nosferatu right around the corner, but I have no doubt that Sonic Movie 3 is going to continue to succeed, it's going to continue to thrive, and it's just going to give us an even bigger budget for Sonic Movie 4. What does that movie have in store? Well, you'll just have to watch the mid-credit scenes yourself to find out. Final verdict for this unbelievable, incredible, Adventure 2 loving masterpiece known as Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is a well-deserved second ever in the franchise 12 out of 10. It is a 12 out of 10. It is an incredible movie. It is a masterpiece movie that I literally have zero negatives with. It's the perfect Sonic movie. It's the perfect movie for families. And if you are a young adult who is a huge Sonic fan, prepare yourself, because you are simply not ready for what this movie has in store. The thumbnail of this video doesn't lie. They went full throttle on this one, and it is incredible. If you are a Sonic fan, regardless of age, you are required to watch this movie by any means necessary. And if it ends up not being your thing, that's okay. But for most Sonic fans, this is going to give you everything that you want, and it is the biggest bang that I can think of to end off reviews for 2024. Well, what else is there to say but live and learn? And I'm so happy to be alive in a timeline where Sonic is at the top of the box office, arguably more popular than he's ever been before, and most importantly, our boy, Shadow the Hedgehog, done complete justice. I can't say any more than that without going into spoilers, so I'm going to stop it right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching all of these reviews all throughout the year. I know that this was a pretty rough year for reviews because a lot of them were negative, mainly because of how many bad sequels there were this year. But I thank you all for your support. I thank you all for watching all these videos, and even if I am negative on a majority of these reviews this year, I want you guys to know that I still love doing this content, and I still love, even almost 5 years later, getting to continue to talk to you guys about movies and some of my all-time just favorite things. Like, we all have different opinions, we all have different preferences, but this is definitely something that I hold close to my heart, and even if I'm the only person in the world to give it this high of a score, I will die on this hill. You can call it overly obsessive, you can call it way too biased, but I don't care. Sonic 3, best video game movie ever made. No more needs to be said. So, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next review. Take care, all of you awesome fellow hedgehogs.
Lesson I will soon forget. So listen and you won't regret. Be true to yourself, don't miss your chance, and you won't end up like the fool who ripped it.